So this is the letter that I received from CASA, the regulator here in Australia, regarding my flying. It says, "Dear Mr. Drury, I'm pleased to let you know that I've issued your medical certificate. Your Class 2 medical certificate is valid for 2 years and will be emailed separately." This means I can fly again. Now there is one restriction with this letter and the issuance of my medical certificate, which I will tell you about shortly in this video. But after, 2 years, 2 months and 14 days, not that I've been counting, this letter means that I can once again fly Echo Yankee Zulu solo as pilot in command. And obviously for me, this is huge news. This is something I've been waiting for and talking about on this channel for so long. And so I thought, how can I celebrate this amazing news? I had a few different ideas. I thought maybe I could organise like this really big hangar party. But then I remembered I didn't actually like parties very much. So instead I thought, well, why not do the traditional aviation celebration and get Moorabbin Airport here and the team to organise a big water cannon salute. But as excited as I am to have my medical certificate back again, I realised what I should do is be a good pilot about the whole thing and not excessively over-dramatise this moment. So I figured the best way to celebrate being able to fly as pilot in command is to take Echo Yankee Zulu and go and do exactly that. Fly exactly the same way that I have done every other time that I've been flying in my life, albeit with a gap of 2 years, 2 months and 14 days. Hopefully I remember what to do. Let's taxi our way out then. This is just going to be a very simple VFR flight down to the south coast because it's not very busy down there. Hopefully there shouldn't be too much traffic. To do a little bit of VFR flying. If I can get about half an hour under my belt today.
Moorabbin Terminal Information, Quebec. Runway 35 right, arrivals and departures east, frequency 118.1. Runway 35 left, arrivals and departures west, frequency 123.0. Wind 330 degrees, minimum 10 knots, maximum at 26 knots, maximum crosswind of 12 knots. Cover K, temperature 20, QNH 1015.
Ramming ground, Echo Yankee Zulu in the southern run-up bay, receive Quebec, request taxi 35 left, downwind departure.
Echo Yankee Zulu, ramming ground, taxi to holding point Alpha 8, runway 35 left.
Holding point Alpha 8, 35 left, Echo Yankee Zulu.
My mouth is a little bit dry, and it's really important at this point not to let your self-confidence drop. And the best way I find to do that is to use my checklists and go through the checklist, because if I have forgotten something, the checklist will remind me of that. Alright, line up check, so fuel's on the right tank, fuel pumps on, mixture full rich, flaps are set, yoke full and free, transponders on 3000, instrument switches, we're all good, everything's on.
Ramming tower, Echo Yankee Zulu is ready, holding point Alpha 8, downwind departure to the south.
Yankee Zulu, ram tower, line up.
Line up, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Alright, just like any other takeoff you've ever done. Full power, power's coming in. Airspeed is increasing on both. Temperatures and pressures are all in the green, no issues. Balancing with rudder, 70 knots. And we're up. No runway. Flaps go away. And 500 feet. Caps is now available. Left turn. I'm not saying very much, I'm focusing hard. So we've just passed 2,000 feet, just making sure not to climb us above 2,500 feet, because that's Class C airspace for Melbourne above us, where we want to be above the incoming traffic for Moorabbin. So I'll keep us at 2,500 feet until we're outside of the Moorabbin zone. Milkshake, we're doing it. We're on our way.
The other restriction that I was speaking about with my license at the moment is actually a really good one. I mean, I've heard of other people who've been through medical experiences and they have restrictions placed on them. And something I was concerned about with having something like a safety pilot having to sit with you for the first year or two when you get back to flying again, or only being able to fly day VFR, for example, not being able to do night flying or IFR flying. I'm really grateful that after all the testing and everything that I went through, the only restriction that was placed on me for my medical now is that I need to do regular testing above and beyond what I do for my Class 2 medical. Now for me, those tests would be most likely an MRI scan on the brain again, just to make sure that everything is as it should be and there's no changes since the last scan was done. So for me, for the next 2 years, my medical is set. I don't have to do anything, and I'm not restricted in any way in my flying. But when it comes to doing my Class 2 medical in 2 years' time, as well as the standard test, I'll need to do an MRI on top, and potentially anything else that they ask for at that time as well. Even though I've flown over this airspace so many times before over the years, I'm still hyper-checking the charts at the moment just to make sure there's no controlled airspace, there's no NOTAMs, there's no restricted areas. It's probably placing more focus on double-checking and triple-checking things than I ordinarily would have done, just because I'm so familiar, or used to be so familiar with this airspace. See, actually, some things in this airspace, to be fair, have changed. Some waypoint names have changed, airspace areas have changed as well, so I can't just blindly go into this flight and assume that, it's just like it was 2 years, 2 months and 14 days ago, because it's not. Things have actually changed, so I'm not beating myself up too much. That's Echo Yankee Zulu doing a turn for me now. I've just set the autopilot on for a second. I'm not beating myself up too much for double, triple checking things. I'm flying on my own milkshake. Well, we're flying on our own, Got my, these are the new fuel gauges that we put in Echo Yankee Zulu whilst I was grounded. They're very, very accurate now, which is good. So I'm going to do a quick fuel tank change. I'm going to go boost pump on. I'm going to go across to the left tank. Make sure everything looks okay here, and especially everything's still stable with the fuel flow. And once I'm happy with that, then I'll go back here, turn the boost pump off, and I come back here again and just make sure that the fuel flow is stable. And now we're drawing off this left tank, which you can see has got 46 gallons usable in it at the moment. So just coming up to, this is called Cape Lip Trap. Little lighthouse on the Cape down here, one of the southern capes in Victoria. Nothing to our right at the moment apart from the Bass Strait and then Tasmania. That's it basically, so all ocean to the right hand side, so we've got lots of little capes and coves and inlets down here on the coast, lighthouses, beautiful down here. And flying around the coast and looking at the lighthouses, it reminds me of that trip I did with Philippe last year? No, the year before. Actually that was 2024 when we did our Extreme Britain series, flying around to the extreme points of mainland Britain. Great fun that was. Alright, let's do a little turn around here, and this lighthouse seems to be a good point to start making our way back, especially because we've had a beautiful tailwind all the way back, or all the way down here, but unfortunately all the way back we're going to have, conversely, a not so beautiful headwind, so I don't want to go too far south, because I don't want to push myself too far on this flight, and also, to be honest, I've got to get to Costco by midday as well, so... This is actually the third flight I've done in Echo Yankee Zulu since hearing that I got my medical clearance again. It's the first one I've done solo, but instead of just jumping straight back into the aircraft on my own, I did 2 additional flights with instructors. The first one was I did some circuit practice with Shannon, just going round and round and round the Moorabbin circuit on a pretty gusty day. I think it was gusting 35 knots. Again, pretty much straight down the runway, but really good practice. And then 4 days ago, as I record this, I did my IPC, or Instrument Proficiency Check, with Darren. And that just means now that I'm signed off to fly under the instrument flight rules again. So I feel that those 2 flights have prepared me for coming out and doing this solo today, but very much, because it's only been 2 flights with an instructor, that's why I wanted to keep this one really simple and straightforward and VFR. And yeah, I'm using the autopilot at the moment just to hold a heading, hold an altitude. because it just gives me time to look at things like my map and where am I and what's coming up next. Think about what I'm thinking about now, which for example is getting myself back into Moorabbin. What's the process to do all of that? Phillip Island track, where went down with Stephen and Amy to watch the MotoGP. I think it's only going to be here at Phillip Island in Victoria for one more year, then it's moving to Adelaide, which is a shame. Okay, Milkshake, you know the drill. Time to get ready for Moorabbin now. Moorabbin Tower, Echo Yankee Zulu at Karen 1500 inbound with Quebec.
Station at Karen, Moorabbin Tower. Say again, call sign only.
Echo Yankee Zulu.
Echo Yankee Zulu, Moorabbin Tower, join final, runway 35 left.
Final 35 left, Echo Yankee Zulu. Slowing us down, getting in flap range.
Moorabbin Tower, taking us to November Victor Oscar, Karen 1500 inbound in receipt of Tango, the correction Romeo.
Alright, second stage of flaps.
Runway 35 left, solid traffic, November Victor Oscar.
I got another aircraft on the runway. Echo Yankee Zulu going around.
Echo Yankee Zulu, offset to the left.
Offset left, Echo Yankee Zulu going around.
Echo Yankee Zulu, when ready, turn crosswind.
Turning crosswind, Echo Yankee Zulu. Okay, good practice, good practice.
Traffic 10 o'clock, safe altitude 1 mile.
Alright, we just go again. Second stage of flaps.
Traffic 2 o'clock, high 1 mile.
Got him.
Echo Yankee Zulu, clear to land.
Clear to land, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Kilo Delta India, Moorabbin Tower. Line up and wait, traffic will be crossing at Bravo. Line up and wait, copy traffic, Kilo Delta India.
So as well as obviously my family, my friends, the medical team that helped me get through all of this, I really want to say a big thank you as well to you watching this right now. If you've sent me a message over the last couple of years, if you've left a comment on one of my videos, if you've seen me in public, you've asked me for an update, if you've wished me well, as so many of you have done over the course of this last 2 years, 2 months and 14 days, I really want to say thanks. During the time that I wasn't flying, there were obviously many, many times where I really desperately wanted to get back to it again. But there were also times, I'll be honest with you, where I have considered maybe flying isn't the future for me, recreational flying at least, because yeah, it's not inexpensive. This aircraft costs me money when it's not flying or not being hired out. And I'd thought that with my health issues at times, maybe this wasn't my future path. But every single one of you who came up and said, hey Steph, we can't wait to see you back in Echo Yankee Zulu again. We can't wait to see the flying vlogs again. We miss Milkshake. All those sorts of comments and the feedback that you've given me has been such a big motivational factor to not throw it away, to not give it up, and to come back to this moment right now where I've just flown this aircraft on my own and I can see a really positive future with my flying as well. And for that and for the time that you took to do that for me over the last couple of years, genuinely, I just want to say thank you. I really hope on this channel now and in my life in general that I can just put the words brain tumour well and truly behind me. The only two words that I want to be focusing on now are shake and milk. What do you reckon, buddy? Where should we go next? Oh wait, hang on, milkshake's one word, isn't it?